All right. So, welcome into another Let's Talk video. And so, usually I don't do like follow ups to, especially if it's like a comment section thing. But one of the recent videos I did where I was reacting to the Lana Pierce SAG interviews thing, where she's talking to one of the SAG after members of the SAG after union for contract workers in the gaming industry. And apparently it's been a little bit controversial. It's gotten some of the most dislikes or downvotes, whatever you want to say, that I've had on the channel in a while. So normally I just whatever, I just let it go. If you thumbs down one video, it doesn't hurt the overall channel. It's not that the way the algorithm works. So it's like, okay, that one video gets hit, I got like 4 more in the pipeline ready to go anyways. That's whatever. But yeah, this one, it seems like it's a little more important because we've been going over this stuff for years now, and this is like the 3rd time I think that SAG-AFTRA has been going after the gaming industry. Before it was the Hollywood side of SAG-AFTRA going after the industry, and now they have like their own little group clique thing that is going after the gaming industry inside the gaming industry, getting a lot of the content creators on board. So it's making it look like, the situation is a lot worse than what it is essentially. And so now people are, if you criticize that at all, people are starting to come after, anybody who is criticizing that stuff. Of course, this is the way that the internet works nowadays. I had a comment that was left as it was just one comment, and again, I don't usually go into negative comments or anything, but it was just the way that the person worded of their, basically they just say, "Oh, you have a god awful take." Yeah, I've heard that a million times before. But they were like, "Oh, you're just making this video to criticize something, go against the grain of basically." Yeah, essentially that's what they were saying. Unfortunately, so I muted the person off from the channel. I don't. It's like one of the dumbest takes that you could say. Either which way, there was one thing that I didn't say in that reaction video, and that's what's kind of prompting this video. Also, is that there. So the big thing is AI usage. They can, use an AI. They can use our voice any way they want to. And
Not AI protections that prevent the use of generative AI to create new performance, but they are just basic requirements of consent, transparency, compensation, meaning talk to your actors if you're going to replicate them, make sure you pay them properly, and we can all move forward as collaborators using this new tool.
it's like, okay, sure, you don't want that to be a thing. I get that. I wouldn't want my voice used in an AI manner, to do anything either. But the way that they're going at it, so the person from SAG went right into, the lewd scenes, kind of, that, like she went right into this, like Hollywood has sex scenes and all that stuff.
Maybe here's a way to put it. If you were working on a TV show and they asked you, you had a contract, nothing in it has to do with nudity, whatever. You come in or they're asking you to come in. They're like, we're going to do a day of work where we shoot a really graphic sex scene. And you're going to get naked and you're going to do all this, whatever. And you're like, that's not in my contract. And they're like, yeah, but it's not in your contract. And we'd like for you to come do it. We're not sure we'll use it in the final product. It might be something else. Maybe we'll actually make you be violent instead. We're not sure, but all we need you to do is come in for the day of work.
And it's like, okay, so what does she think is going to happen with the gaming industry? They're going to make a game where there's like an X-rated game and they're going to use your likeness in it. Any big company that you're working for, and if you remember in the video, she said,
we're going to get this resolved. We have contracts out right now that have these protections as we need them. We have an interim contract out right now, a tiered budget agreement for game productions below 30 million as far as overall production budget. And they have everything we need in them. So it's not even that all work has to stop. Yeah. It's just unprotected work has to stop.
I was just sitting here thinking, I'm like, well, what does she think that these bigger studios are going to do? They're going to put out some like X-rated game that can be sold anyways. They are a multi-billion-dollar company trying to make a multi-million-dollar project, a title. You're not going to make compensation if the game can be on, store shelves or websites because it's rated adult only. That makes no sense. And again, this comes from what I said in that video, was a lot of the people like this, they're starting stuff because they are they're kind of the whiners, or they're the criers of the industry. And again, it's just like, negotiate the contract. Then, like, you're putting yourself in that position. If you see a contract with something in it that either is missing or that you don't like, well, then you should be bringing that to the attention. And if you don't like it, don't sign on to the project. And for some reason, this is controversial. This is like, people are really not liking that. It's like, how else do you not are you so I guess in the gaming industry, every time you get a contract, you're just supposed to sign it like that and not even read it, just whatever. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. And for anybody to trying to do a strike to make it so, and again, this is not about like, oh, I'm worried about my favorite game getting delayed. I mean, yeah, Insomniac Wolverine might get delayed. GTA 6 is out of all this contract negotiation stuff. Like, literally, GTA 6 is going to be coming out whether there's a SAG strike or not. That game is coming out on schedule. We've already figured this out. It has really nothing to do with like games getting delayed. If and in all honesty, like, game delays happen all the damn time anyways, and we already have like 4 games in a month that come out, or at least like 2 of them. So if one game gets delayed, yeah, you have one other one that you can jump into. It's not about games getting delayed at all. That, again, that is a really, really dumb takeoff from what I was saying in the video. My point in the video was to get across, and this is, again, we've been talking about this for years at this point. The point is, if you don't like the contract, if you don't like what the studio is going to be doing, like, it's in the contract. You have to agree to terms. Basically, it's like a TOS, like a terms of service agreement. It's an NDA agreement. Like, there is multiple things to these contracts that you have to sign on for and agree with, of your likeness, of how they already are using it and everything. Okay, AI manipulation. Again, if it's not in there, ask about it. And if they don't want to give you that, then go to the next project. Oh, well, you can't just go to the next project. Yes, you can. There is a million games being made over in California or wherever else around the world. Again, if you, to me, the way that it seems like what these people in SAG are doing is they're getting themselves in the middle of a project and then asking questions afterwards. So they are not doing their research, they're not doing their homework on what they're signing up for, and then they're trying to cry about it afterwards. That was the point of the video. And everything that girl was saying from SAG, that's exactly what she was explaining. Of like, oh my God, you get to set, and then all of a sudden they're trying to switch things up. I mean, so to be the most fairest thing that I can be on that argument is every single game studio works differently. So that could be some of the AA studios that are doing this, just barely in that bracket of budget that she's talking about. And maybe, again, Ubisoft works differently from Rockstar, which works differently from Activision, which works differently. All these studios work differently. CDPR works differently from, what's another studio? Anything. So you could have some bad things on certain sets of like mocap stages or whatever else. You have voiceover booths, you have mocap stages, you have work that you have to come back in and do touch-ups and everything. It just, again, what they are arguing makes absolutely no sense, just on that pure fact of you're signing up for the it's not like they are like, you're going to do this project, go and do it. You're not a slave to the system at all. You're okay. So the other one too, in that video, was you get the script a few days before you go into it. Okay, sure. So that means you have a few days, read through the script, figure out what your scenes are and all that stuff. And then if you don't agree with something, you can go over to the director of whoever is, if it's a mocap stage or if it's a voiceover booth, there is a director of some kind to make sure that you are getting, or they are getting the performance out of you that they want. go to the director and talk with them. You don't have to go on strike to do this. The directors are always on call, always on standby for the actors and the people working in there. And I was just thinking in my brain of like, how can I bring this back over to like artists or something that maybe they don't want to make lewd art or anything, but that's not even what they were complaining about either. It's literally voice and mocap stage work is what the SAG after, because they are, again, they are the actors guild. They are they are union, and again, I think they're using AI just to complain about stuff to get more money out of the studios. Because if you notice, there is a money part and then there's an AI part. And the money part has been there for years. They keep going, oh my God, we need to get more money. We need to get more money. We can't pay our bills and whatnot because they keep paying us too little and all that stuff, even though the price of everything normally where they live is going up. Like yeah, that's every job. And everybody who works in a regular 9 to 5 has been saying that against the SAG after union strike stuff. Again, I don't want to make this video too long, but this is it's basically just like a sort of follow-up. But again, my point on that video, can't stress this enough, is just, if you don't like something that is, either not listed in the agreement or that is listed in the agreement, then why would you sign on for that project to begin with? You're putting yourself in a bad position, and then you are trying to hold up the project and make a bad position for everyone else that's associated with the project because of your own thing, because of your own, I don't like this. It's, your own emotional response to whatever it is. Again, it is, every studio is different. Most studios that I've heard, other actors that have no problem with working with studios and everything on big projects, most of them say, okay, I would probably go over to the director or the writer or whoever is, there, and say, I don't know if the character would do this. And boom, you get to have a bit of a discussion. If you are working with bad directors and a bad development team, they might argue with you a bit. That's going to happen in any field. You go Hollywood, you're going to probably have even 10 times worse with those directors because everybody's got to stick up their ass in Hollywood from what you end up seeing and hearing about all the time. So, yeah. Again, I'm not deleting the video, the original video about all this stuff. But if there is some very hot takes that gets put onto the video, kind of misrepresenting of what I'm kind of saying in the video, I will just mute that person. But yeah, I think the channel has gotten to that point now where we're going to have more of those, comments that are trying to misrepresent what you're saying. It's fine. It's YouTube. It's a comment section. It's all good. I know that's what happens on the internet, especially, but yeah. Anyways, that was my full-on point on it, I guess I could say, and yeah, that's gonna do it. So, anyways, hit that sub button, the like, share, all that good stuff, the YouTubey stuff, and yeah, I'll be back with more Let's Talks in the very near future. We got a whole bunch of game trailers and everything else coming up. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by, and as always, I will see you next time.